Dear colleagues, welcome to this 41st session of the Forum of Women Parliamentarians. I am very pleased to see all of you, men and women, here today. And I'm very happy because now we have a lot of men in the Forum of Women Parliamentarians. So thank you so much for being here, all the men, because we cannot achieve gender equality with the support of men and women at the same time. I want to welcome and thank you so much for your host. It's a big pleasure to be in your country. It's a beautiful country. People are very warm, very kind. Thank you for every detail of this assembly, because it's a lot of work behind this assembly. So our speaker, Mr. Numan Kurtulmus, His Excellency, Speaker of the Grand National Assembly of Türkiye and President of this 152 IPU Assembly, a big thankful for you. Thank you so much. And I want to welcome our dear President, Dr. Tullia Axon, President of the IPU. Thank you, our President Tullia Axon, for all your support, for all the preparation for the Assembly, but also because it's the third woman president of the history of IPU, and she has been doing so much representing IPU. And we are ready to go to your country, Tanzania, in October 2026. So I also would like to congratulate and thank so much to Ms. Fatma Aksal, member of the Grand National Assembly of Türkiye. Thank you so much, dear Fatma. And a special mention, I don't know if she's here, to Fatma Onku, my sister, and the Vice President of the Forum of Women Parliamentarians, please stand up. Fatma Onku, Vice President of the Forum of Women Parliamentarians, for all your effort. And also I want to give a special recognition, Member of Parliament, Ms. Erdogan, from Türkiye, for all the preparations for this assembly. Thank you, because you have been more than 1 year with all the preparation. Thank you so much. And I want to also welcome, he is coming, but let's give a great clap for him, our Secretary General, Mr. Martin Chungong, Secretary General of the IPU and Chairperson of the International Gender Champions. So, Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, on behalf of all of us gathered today here, I would like to thank you, all the speakers that are here with us today. If they can stand up so we can give us a good clap for the speakers that are here in the room, the speaker of Azerbaijan, the speaker of Uzbekistan. We want you to stand up, the speakers that are here in the room. The speaker of South Africa is here. The speaker from Zimbabwe. All the speakers, can they stand up, please? Yeah, the speaker. Thank you so much, our dear speaker from Zimbabwe, and also for being here. So I would like to thank you most warmly for hosting this 152 IPU Assembly and having us here in Istanbul. Thank you for your gracious hospitality. Thank you for the support of the President. Please send the President big cock, and we are very thankful with him because all the support for this assembly. And we are very happy to be here in Türkiye, in a country that is a leader in the world for a lot of things. So we are so happy to be here. Please transmit the President a big thankful from all the Forum of Women Parliamentarians, the government, and the Grand National Assembly of Türkiye. So, since we have arrived in this beautiful country, we truly feel at home. So, I would like to recognize Ms. Fatma Aksal, member of the Grand National Assembly of Türkiye, for Edirne, former chair of the Committee on Equal Opportunity for Women and Men, and member of the Turkish delegation to NATO Parliamentary Assembly. Ms. Aksal's parliamentary service and commitment to economic development are deeply appreciated. We are very pleased to have you here today. So, dear colleagues, by nomination on behalf of our gracious host, I would like to propose Ms. Fatma Aksal presides over the 41st session of the Forum of Women Parliamentarians. I would like to approve this proposal by acclamation. Thank you, dear colleagues, and congratulations, Ms. Aksal. Without further ado, I pass over the presidency to you, and just tell that this will be a very special Forum of Women Parliamentarians, because we will give some words to our Secretary General, Martin Chungong, that has done a lot for the Forum of Women Parliamentarians. We will have the candidates of the Secretary Generals here in the Forum of Women Parliamentarians. We will be talking about also the Conference of Serbia that will be in June, the next Conference of Women Parliamentarians, and we will be having a great topic. So, dear President, Ms. Aksal, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Castro, and thank you all. Now I'm going to give my speech in Turkish. Sayın Başkan, değerli milletvekilleri, kıymetli misafirler, şahsıma tevdi ettiğiniz bu önemli görev için sizlere şükranlarımı sunuyorum. Bu vesileyle Sayın Cynthia López Castro'ya ortaya koyduğu kararlı liderlik, yapıcı yaklaşım ve kadın parlamenterler arasındaki dayanışmayı güçlendiren kıymetli katkıları için teşekkür ediyorum. Ayrıca Sayın Martin Chungong'a görev süresi boyunca parlamenter diplomasiyi güçlendiren, kadınların ve gençlerin sesini daha görünür kılan liderliği için en içten teşekkürlerimi sunuyorum. Ortaya koyduğu vizyon bu platformu daha kapsayıcı ve daha etkili bir yapıya dönüştürmüştür. Sizleri kıtaların, kültürlerin ve medeniyetlerin buluştuğu kadim şehir İstanbul'da ağırlamaktan büyük bir memnuniyet duyuyoruz. Türkiye Büyük Millet Meclisi olarak Parlamentolar Arası Birlik Genel Kurulu'na uzun bir aradan sonra yeniden ev sahipliği yapmaktan büyük bir gurur ve memnuniyet duyduğumuzu da ifade etmek istiyorum. Bu buluşmanın parlamentolar arası diyaloğu güçlendireceğine ve ortak sorunlara birlikte çözüm üretme irademizi pekiştireceğine inanıyoruz. Bugün dünya, siyasi gerilimlerin ve insani krizlerin aynı anda yaşandığı zorlu bir dönemden geçmektedir. Çatışmaların en ağır sonucunu ise çoğu zaman siviller, özellikle de kadınlar ve çocuklar yaşamaktadır. Böylesi dönemlerde parlamentolara düşen sorumluluk her zamankinden daha büyüktür. Çünkü parlamentolar yalnızca yasama organları değil, aynı zamanda toplumların vicdanını ve ortak iradesini temsil eden kurumlardır. Barışın kalıcı olabilmesi, adaletin, insan onurunun ve uluslararası hukukun korunması büyük önem taşımaktadır. Demokrasi ise kapsayıcı temsil ile güçlenir. Bu çerçevede kadınların siyasetteki temsili ve karar alma süreçlerine etkin katılımı yalnızca bir eşitlik meselesi değil, demokratik sistemlerin niteliğini belirleyen temsil unsurlarından biridir. Kadınların aktif rol aldığı siyaset, daha kapsayıcı, daha dengeli ve daha sürdürülebilir politikaların geliştirilmesine, barışın inşasına, toplumsal uzlaşının güçlenmesine ve kalıcı çözümlerin geliştirilmesine önemli katkılar sunar. Kadınların karar alma mekanizmalarında güçlü biçimde yer aldığı toplumlar, yalnızca kadınlar için değil, toplumun tamamı için daha sağlam bir gelecek inşa eder. Bu nedenle kadınların siyasetteki varlığı tali bir mesele değil, demokrasinin niteliğini belirleyen temel bir gerekliliktir. Türkiye Büyük Millet Meclisi'nde görev yaptığım süre boyunca özellikle Kadın Erkek Fırsat Eşitliği Komisyonu Başkanı olarak yürüttüğümüz çalışmalarda fırsat eşitliğinin yalnızca bir söylem değil, aynı zamanda somut politikalar ve güçlü kurumsal irade meselesi olduğunu yakından müşahede ettim. Bu noktada parlamentolar arası birliğin kadın parlamenterleri destekleyen ve kalıcı politikaları teşvik eden çalışmaları büyük önem taşımaktadır. Bu düşüncelerle 41. Kadın Parlamenterler Forumu'nun yapıcı, ufuk açıcı ve sonuç odaklı geçmesini temenni ediyorum. Unutmamalıyız ki daha adil, daha barışçıl ve daha kapsayıcı bir dünya kadınların karar alma süreçlerinde güçlü biçimde yer aldığı toplumlarla mümkün olacaktır diyorum. Hepinizi saygıyla selamlıyor, katılımınız ve katkılarınız için teşekkür ediyorum. Thank you. I'm now pleased to invite His Excellency, Mr. Numan Kurtulmuş, Speaker of the Grand National Assembly of Türkiye and President of the 152nd IPU Assembly. Mr. Speaker, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Good morning. Sayın Başkan, Kadın Parlamenterler Forumu'nun değerli üyeleri, kıymetli parlamenterler ve çok saygıdeğer misafirler, sizleri burada kıtaların buluştuğu, medeniyetlerin buluştuğu, kültürlerin buluştuğu dünyanın en önemli şehirlerinden İstanbul'da ağırlamaktan büyük bir memnuniyet duyuyorum. Sözlerimin hemen başında Kadın Parlamenterler Forumu'nun başkanı değerli Cynthia Lopez Castro'nun açılışta yapmış olduğu nazik konuşmaları ve ülkemiz hakkındaki fevkalade hassas sözleri dolayısıyla teşekkürlerimi ifade etmek istiyorum. Ayrıca bu forumun açılışında 41. oturum başkanlığına seçilen değerli milletvekilimiz Fatma Aksal'ı tebrik ediyorum. Bu toplantı sırasında da başarılı bir yönetim icra edeceğini umuyor, kendilerine yürekten başarılar diliyorum. Yine sözlerimin hemen başında belki de son toplantısı olarak bu toplantıya katılan ve uzun süredir IPU'nun genel sekreterliği görevini icra eden, başarıyla icra eden, hepimiz tarafından yakinen tanınan ve salona girdiğinde gösterdiğiniz tezahüratla da sevildiğini ortaya koyan Martin Çunkonk'a bir kere daha tebriklerimi, teşekkürlerimi ifade ediyorum. Kendisine bundan sonraki hayatında başarılar diliyorum. 152. Parlamentolar Arası Birlik Genel Kurulu vesilesiyle tarihin, medeniyetlerin, sözlerin buluştuğu ve tarih boyunca çok farklı fikirlerin bir araya gelerek tartışıldığı İstanbul'da, bu kadim şehirde ağırlamaktan duyduğum memnuniyeti bir kez daha ifade etmek istiyorum. Burası medeniyetlerin kavşak noktası. Sadece tarihte değil, bugün de dünyada farklı fikirlerin bir araya gelebildiği, farklı fikirlerin aynı masa etrafında konuşulabildiği, tartışılabildiği ender şehirlerden birisi olma özelliğini taşıyor. İstanbul'a hoş geldiniz, sefalar getirdiniz. Değerli katılımcılar, Kadın Parlamenterler Forumu'nun sıradan bir toplantı formatı olmadığını açıkça ifade etmek isterim. Burası, insanlığın önündeki temel meselelerin daha derinlikli olarak, daha hassas bir şekilde, daha kapsayıcı bir şekilde tartışıldığı bir forumdur. Burası, siyasi tartışmaların ufkunu genişleten ve küresel vicdana yön veren müstesna bir platform olarak uluslararası sistemde yerini almaktadır. İstanbul'daki bu buluşma, kadınların karar süreçlerindeki yeri, çatışma sonrasında toplumların yeniden ayağa kaldırılmasındaki katkıları ve hakkaniyete dayalı bir uluslararası sistemin kurulması yönündeki fikirlerinin tartışılması bakımından çok önemlidir. Esasen bu başlıkların her biri günümüz dünyasının ertelenemez sorumluluk alanlarına işaret etmektedir. Bugün karşı karşıya bulunduğumuz manzara sadece bir kriz ya da kaostan ibaret değil ya da uluslararası sistem bakımından alelade bir gerilim konusu değildir. Hepimizin çok yakinen takip ettiğimiz, zaman zaman da büyük endişeler duyduğumuz gibi aslında bugün karşılaştığımız küresel sorun çok taraflı sistemin etkisini kaybettiği, hukukun seçici bir hukuk olarak uygulandığı, uluslararası kurumların itibarının aşınmaya başladığı ve küresel karar süreçlerinin adalet duygusundan yoksun bir hale geldiği duruma işaret etmektedir. Bu tablo, diplomatik kanalların daralması ve insanlık onurunun ağır bir baskı altına girmesi gibi fevkalade sarsıcı sonuçlar doğurmaktadır. Mevcut ortamda hiç şüphesiz en ağır bedeli de kadınlar ve çocuklar ödemektedir. Dünyanın hemen hemen her çatışma bölgesinde, her gerilim bölgesinde ve uluslararası alanda yaşadığımız her çatışmanın merkezinde ağırlıklı olarak kadınların ödediği bedeller, kadınların yüklendiği sıkıntılar söz konusudur. Başta Gazze olmak üzere bölgemizde devam eden çatışmalarda yaşanan artık soykırım boyutlarına varmış olan insanlık suçlarının en ağır faturasını maalesef Gazze'li kadınlar ve çocuklar ödemektedir. Yine aynı şekilde dünyanın birçok yerinde de ortaya çıkan büyük göçler, yoksullukların da bedelini ağırlıklı olarak kadınlar ödemektedir. Yerinden edilenler, yoksulluk ve korumasızlık altında kalanlar da ne yazık ki büyük oranda kadınlardır. Öte yandan demokratik müzakere masalarına bakıldığında da kadınların hala yeterli ölçüde temsil edilmediği de gayet açıktır. Bu eksiklik sadece bir temsil sorununa işaret etmez. Bu eksiklik barışın toplumsallaşmasını geciktiren ve kalıcı hale gelmesini zedeleyen yapısal bir boşluk anlamına gelir. Değerli milletvekilleri, değerli parlamenterler, kadınların güçlendirilmesi meselesi dar anlamda bir eşitlik tartışması olarak ele alınamaz. Bu konu demokrasinin kalitesi, yönetimin kapsayıcılığı, kalkınmanın sürekliliği ve toplumsal dengenin sağlıklı bir biçimde korunmasıyla hiç şüphesiz doğrudan ilgilidir. Bu sebeple burada yürütülen müzakerelerin tali bir gündem olarak değil, çağımızın ana tartışma başlıkları olarak ele alınması yerinde olacaktır. Sizlerin ortaya koyduğu fikirler iyi niyet beyanı olmanın çok ötesinde yasama süreçlerini etkilemekte, siyaseti şekillendirmekte ve toplumların geleceğine yön veren alanlarda somut karşılıklar bulmaktadır. Artık açıkça biliyoruz ki kadınların karar alma mekanizmalarında etkili bir şekilde katılamadığı bir yerde ne hakkaniyet tam manasıyla tesis edilebilir ne de uzun ömürlü bir huzur iklimi oluşturulabilir. Bu noktada parlamentolara özel bir görev düşmektedir. Meclisler, milletlerin iradesinin tecessüm ettiği, toplumsal vicdanın makes bulduğu ve geleceğe dair istikametin belirlendiği kurumsal yapılardır. Yasama, denetim, bütçe ve temsil alanlarında kadınların güçlü şekilde yer alması, daha kapsayıcı, dirençli ve dengeli toplumların inşası bakımından da temel bir gerekliliktir. Değerli misafirler, bugünün çok boyutlu krizleri zaten var olan eşitsizlikleri kadınlar açısından daha da derinleştirmektedir. Ekonomik daralma, yerinden edilme, çatışma ortamları, gelir eşitsizliğinin artması, sosyal güvencesizlik ve eğitim imkanlarındaki erişimin bozulması gibi kadınların hayatını doğrudan etkileyen gelişmeler küresel olarak hemen hemen bütün ülkeleri yakinen ilgilendirmektedir. Kadınların desteklenmesiyle ekonomik adaletin tahkimi, toplumların dayanıklılığının artırılması ile sosyal barışın kökleştirilmesi birbirinden ayrı düşünülemez. Kadına yönelik şiddet bu meselenin en ağır yakıcı boyutlarından birisidir. Şiddete karşı geliştirilecek tavrın hukuki, insani, ahlaki ve siyasi sorumluluklar taşıdığı da aşikardır. Bu alanda gösterilen kararlılık, toplumların medeniyet seviyesinin de hiç şüphesiz en önemli göstergelerinden birisidir. Türkiye olarak biz kadınların güçlenmesini, ailenin korunmasını, sosyal dokunun sağlamlaştırılmasını, üretim kapasitesinin artırılmasını ve kamusal hayatın nitelik kazanmasını toplumsal refahımız için stratejik alanlar olarak kabul ediyor ve bu alanlardaki iyileştirmeyi hükümetlerimizin de en temel vazifesi olarak telakki ediyoruz. Bu anlayışla eğitimden istihdama, sosyal destek mekanizmalarından karar süreçlerine kadar uzanan geniş bir çerçevede çok yönlü adımları atıyoruz, atmaya devam edeceğiz. Ancak şunu da ifade etmek isterim ki, mesele sadece fırsat sunmaktan da ibaret görülmemelidir. Asıl ihtiyaç, kadınların bilgi, tecrübe, sezgi ve siyasi birikimlerinin kamusal hayata tam manasıyla yansıtılabileceği adil bir ortamın kurulabilmesidir. Asıl önemli olan günlük hayatın güven duygusunun yerleşmesi, kız çocuklarının eğitimden yeterince istifade etmesi, ailelerin vakar içerisinde yaşayabilmesi ve insan onurunun her şart altında korunabilmesidir. Bu itibarla forum kapsamında ortaya çıkacak görüşlerin ve tekliflerin 152. Genel Kurul çalışmalarına güçlü katkılar sağlayacağına yürekten inanıyorum. Bu düşüncelerle Kadın Parlamenterler Forumu'nun başarılı, verimli ve vizyoner neticeler doğurmasını temenni ediyor. Her birinize katılımlarınız dolayısıyla yürekten teşekkür ediyor, başarılar diliyorum. Selam ve saygılarımla.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, such an inspiring words. Now, we have Dr. Tulya Aksen, President of the IPU. Dr. Aksen, the floor is yours.
Mr. Speaker of the Grand National Assembly and the President of the 152nd IPU Assembly, Madam President of the 41st session of the Forum of Women Parliamentarians, Madam President of the Bureau of Women Parliamentarians, Mr. Secretary General of the Inter-Parliamentary Union, dear colleagues, dear friends. I wish to begin by expressing my sincere appreciation to our hosts, and here particularly the Speaker of the Grand National Assembly of Türkiye for the good work and the arrangements that they have put in place, which we have all enjoyed since our arrival here in Istanbul. We are very grateful for all the measures that have been put in place. We have been well received and we are well taken care of. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. That said, I would like to echo the words that were said by the President of the Bureau of Women Parliamentarians in IPU. Please convey our words of gratitude to His Excellency Mr. Erdogan, the President of Türkiye. We appreciate the hospitality. Dear colleagues, dear friends, I would like also to take this opportunity to welcome all of you to this 41st session of the Forum of Women Parliamentarians. It is a great pleasure to see so many women and men. The room is packed. This is not accidental. It is planned, but also it means we have made progress when women and men together feel they can attend to the meetings that are called, and they're even written, women. So we work together. I would like to pay tribute to the men in the room. Thank you for coming to this forum. Dear colleagues, we have to work together, men and women parliamentarians, to make a difference in the world, but also to ensure our commitment to gender equality is advanced globally. I am very pleased to join you at this forum, a platform that for more than 4 decades has brought women parliamentarians together across borders, political traditions, and national context. It has helped women parliamentarians recognize that many appear in one country as an individual obstacle is often part of the wider structural reality. It has always strongly affirmed that the rights, representation, and leadership of women are matters not of symbolism, but of democracy itself. This forum is a key space for dialogue, solidarity, and shared purpose, values that we need today more than ever before. Thanks to this forum, dear colleagues, thanks to our collective conviction, persistence, and leadership, the IPU has become a leader on gender equality. I look forward to gender equality remaining at the heart of our organization's mission and action through the new IPU 5-year strategy to be adopted during this assembly. And that brings me to another key promoter of gender equality in this organization, our own Secretary General, Mr. Martin Chugong. Colleagues, allow me to pay tribute to this great man who has served our institution with unwavering support. I'm going to use a few of my minutes to talk about him, because this will be his last assembly, because he's going to retire soon. So that said, and because this is a women's forum, let us all recognize his contribution within the IPU, but also globally. Dear Martin, as you attend this assembly in the final period of your tenure, I wish to recognize the leadership you have provided to the IPU and to the broader cause of gender equality in Parliament and beyond. Under your leadership and stewardship, gender equality has not remained a principle to be affirmed. It has become a priority to be advanced, a standard to be upheld, and a responsibility to be shared. Under your tenure, Mr. Secretary General, parity is now part and parcel of the Inter-Parliamentary Union. Speaking personally, your first tenure, Mr. Martin, as Secretary General coincided with my own journey as Deputy Speaker of the Parliament of the United Republic of Tanzania. That timing mattered a lot to me at a moment when I, like many women in public life, was navigating norms that challenged women leadership. It was deeply meaningful to see that the IPU was addressing these same challenges with lead, commitment, and clarity. A decade later, I became Speaker of the National Assembly of Tanzania, and later, I became President of the Inter-Parliamentary Union. That is not to say the journey is easy, but I am recognizing his commitment, our Secretary General's commitment, that it's not only working here at the IPU, but it is inspiring women out there globally. Dear Martin, your kind of leadership leaves a mark not only on an institution, but on people. The impact of that leadership is visible in many ways. It is reflected in measurable progress, including the rise in women's representation in Parliament globally, from 21.9% in 2014 to 27.2% today, as I'm addressing you. Importantly, that work continues to evolve by combating persistent barriers such as violence against women in politics, negative social norms, and exclusion of women from marginalized groups. This is a welcome investment towards parity in numbers, leadership, and culture. The impact of your leadership, Mr. Secretary General, is also visible in the way the IPU is regarded within the wider international system. Cooperation with the United Nations treaty bodies is closer than ever before. The IPU is a key partner in advancing international commitments on gender equality and women's rights. It is a loud voice against attempts of pushbacks on women and girls' rights and freedoms. But perhaps the most important part of your legacy, Mr. Martin, lies in the mark you leave in the consciousness of parliaments and individual members worldwide. You leave behind the understanding that the Inter-Parliamentary Union keeps an open door, that it does not only hear, but listens, and that it does not only listen, but responds. For that, Mr. Secretary General, we thank you with respect, gratitude, and sincerity. Mr. Martin, Mr. Speaker, colleagues, and friends, we will all be honoring our outgoing Secretary General by ensuring that this Forum of Women Parliamentarians continues to fulfill its essential role of bringing a stronger gender perspective to the work of the IPU and of our parliaments. Dear colleagues, today, that role will be expressed in your consideration of the draft resolutions before this Assembly, and in your reflections on the rise of conflicts and their grave consequences for the rights and lives of women and girls. Through these deliberations, the Forum will continue to shape the Assembly's work with clarity, relevance, and purpose. Before I end, I would like to also echo the words that were said by the President of the Bureau of Women Parliamentarians in the IPU. This is historic for women. We have 4 women candidates for the position of the Secretary General of the IPU. This shows you we have made progress. So, for a while, we are going to have a female president of IPU and a female Secretary General of IPU. I wish you all the best as you listen to these capable women candidates who are going to present themselves to you. I'm sure we are going to get the best out of them. I thank you for listening and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Axon. Now we have Senator Lopez Castro, President of the Bureau of Women Parliaments. Senator Castro, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Mr. Speaker of the Grand National Assembly and President of the 152 Assembly, thank you. I said thank you so much for everything. It's a big pleasure to be in Türkiye, and thank you for making this possible at this great assembly in your country. Also, President of the IPU, Tullia Axon, Mr. Secretary General of the IPU, and Ms. Fatma, President of the Women's Assembly. I also want to mention the speakers that are with us today. Thank you so much for being here. Our speaker from Azerbaijan, our speaker from Uzbekistan, our speaker from South Africa, and our speaker from Zimbabwe. Thank you so much for your attendance. And also, I have to say in all my speeches, because they did a great work, my dear Vice President of the Forum of Women Parliamentarians, Fatma Onku, thanks for everything to make this possible. Fatma, thank you. Also, Ms. Asuman Erdogan, thank you so much for all your work, because you have put your heart in this assembly. So also I want to thank you so much, the presence of my Mexican colleagues, the Mexican delegation. Thank you for being here in this assembly. So for me, this forum is not only a platform within the IPU, it's a living space of trust, courage, and political sisterhood. It's where women parliamentarians of all the world bring our struggles, our victories, and find strength in each other. As President of the Bureau of Women Parliamentarians, I have had the privilege of seeing how this forum is demonstrated in centrally concrete ways. In its sustained focus on women, peace and security remains deeply relevant as conflict continues to bring suffering in this region and far beyond. Allow me at this point to express our heartfelt solidarity with all women, all girls enduring violence, displacement, and fear, and whose futures are being hampered by war. I want to pay tribute for all women that have been dead for the war in these times. For all women, we are here to still raise the voice, but you will be always here, and let's talk for all the women that now they are not here today with us. But we will keep fighting, so no more women. We don't want one more women to be dead on wars. And I want to make a special recognition because I haven't seen him, but I want to give a big clap to my dear friend, one of the best presidents of the IPU, a former parliamentarian of Portugal that I didn't notice that you were here. Please stand up, Mr. Duarte Pacheco. Of course, we are so happy to have you here. Thank you. We need to see you. Thank you for being here with us. You have done a lot for women. You have done a lot as president of IPU, so we are very pleased to have you here, Mr. Duarte Pacheco. So I want just to share that now the percentage of women in parliament is 25.7%. Americas is with more women representation, 35%, then is Europe, and then is Africa. Now we have 7 countries in the world. It was 6 in the past, and now we have 7. So we have 1 country more that has achieved gender equality. So I want to congratulate Andorra, Bolivia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Rwanda, UAE, and of course, my dear country, Mexico, with the great job of our first female president, Claudia Sheinbaum. So, also, I want to mention that Kyrgyzstan has improved in 12% the presence of women parliamentarians, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Burundi, and Australia. So it's a good notice about this increase in women's parliamentarians, but I'm concerned about something. We have 3 countries in the world, I will mention it, Oman, Tuvalu, and the Yemen, with no women in parliaments. So we need women in parliaments because it was in 2022 the last time that there was no women in parliament. Now it has passed 4 years, and then we are 1 step back because now we have 3 parliaments with no women. So I hope for the next election, these 3 parliaments have women is the representation because we need women raising the voice.
President?
We will
ماذا تقر؟
now also I want to say that we have 28 women as head of states. We have 28 women as president of head of states, and I want to congratulate Europe because 14 are in their continent. And for the first time in the history, we have a president women, as I said, in Mexico, in Namibia, and in North Macedonia. So congratulations for the women that are there. And also, we have 22% of women as ministers. So after these numbers, we will be talking about this in the forum. I just want to finalize my intervention saying, Martin Chungong, thank you. Thank you for being a champion of leadership. Thank you for your legacy. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for helping us to implement the first conference of women parliamentarians as part of IPU. It was in Mexico, the first conference of women parliamentarians, and we will have this year in Serbia, the conference of women parliamentarians. So thank you, Secretary General, to make it possible. Thank you for all your support, and I want to recognize him through this video that is a present for you. So we make this video to express how much we thank you. So thank you, Secretary General, and you will be forever an advisor of the Forum of Women Parliamentarians. Thank you so much. And in Türkiye and in all the parts of the world, it's time for women. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Castro. And now we have Mr. Martin Chongong. The video honoring them. Thank you, Mr. Lopez Castro. Thank you for your inspiring words and this beautiful tribute video. And now we have Mr. Chong Gong, Mr. Secretary General, the floor is yours.
Mr. Speaker of the Grand National Assembly and President of the 152nd IPU Assembly, Madam President of the IPU, my dear friend and sister, Dr. Tulia Axon, Madam President of the 41st session of the Forum of Women Parliamentarians, dear Fatma Aksa, my beloved friend, Cynthia Lopez Castro, President of the Bureau of Women Parliamentarians, distinguished members of this forum, ladies and gentlemen. I just realized that I made a huge mistake. I did not come here with my box of tissue paper to wipe my tears because the very generous words of thanks and gratitude have left me dumbfounded and tearful. I have served you as Secretary General for the past 12 years, and I have made it a point of duty to be present wherever issues of gender equality are being discussed within the organization. I have heard you loud and clear and I would like to thank each and every one of those speakers that have been here for their very kind words. I acknowledge those praises and thanks in all humility. I say in all humility because I am aware of the fact that success has never been solitary. Success, especially in this area of the work of the IPU, has been the result of collective work. It has been the outcome of the determination and commitment of members of the organization across the board. It has been the outcome of the strong leadership shown by the members of the leadership of the organization, including the Bureau of Women Parliamentarians, which I attended this morning. This forum that I have seen grow over the past 40 years. I have seen the strides that we have made in terms of prosecuting the gender equality agenda under the leadership of some strong champions in this organization, men and women alike. I am proud to be one of those men that have been at the forefront of promoting the gender equality agenda in the IPU. I have done so not because I think gender equality is a nice-to-have thing. I don't think we should be so simplistic. Gender equality should be part and parcel of society and institutions that are worthy of that name, including the Global Organization of Parliaments, the Inter-Parliamentary Union. If we talk about democracy, that democracy cannot be legitimate if women and men are not equally at the table. If there is no commitment on the part of leadership to promote gender equality, I would say gender justice, as a priority. So I want to use this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for that leadership, for that commitment. I did say this morning that it takes two to tango. We have, of course, been there to do your bidding, but we have been guided by what you have designed as policies and advocacy. We have seen this forum as one of the major places for the organization to transform itself from within to become an ever more gender-sensitive and gender-friendly body. We have seen your forum drive progress in terms of developing parliamentary diplomacy that is gender-sensitive. And today, parliamentary involvement in global affairs cannot claim legitimacy if it is not gender-sensitive. And it is very much thanks to you that this is happening. Your president, the president of the Women's Bureau, earlier today, this morning, that mentioned the strides that we have made when it comes to gender equality in the world, thanks to their efforts. But we have also made strides within the organization to be more gender sensitive. So thank you very much, Forum of Women Parliamentarians, for showing the light, for continuing to do this work. We have been very steadfast in promoting those policies that you have identified. We have been very intransigent when it came to promoting participation of women in delegations to the IPU. And today we celebrate 37% of IPU delegates in assemblies being women. And I must say, And I must say that I'm really proud of this because I have also been introduced as the chair of the Global Board of International Gender Champions, which is this network of leaders of international organization, diplomats, all committed to working for gender equality in their areas. And the IPU is always quoted as an example of an organization that is gender sensitive. You can go and check the statistics, 37% is a good figure. I did commit to 40%. I'm not yet there, we're not yet there. My successor will work towards that. I did say we want 50-50. We want the 50%. So I want to salute the work that we have done in terms of gender parity. Cynthia, let me respond in kind. You spearheaded the conference in Mexico last year, the Global Conference of Women Parliamentarians, and I remember very clearly that we came up with a plan of action for parity. The first time we're having that type of document, we had always talked about gender equality, but now we have embedded within the legislative framework of the organization the norm of parity, and not just an aspiration, but something that is mandatory. Thank you very much to you, Cynthia, for driving that process. I am sure that we will continue to have these discussions here, and you have thanked me, those who have taken the floor have thanked me, but I want also to say the greatest gratitude that you can give to me as outgoing Secretary General of this organization is to commit to perpetuating the achievements that we have made together over the past 12 years. I say this cognizant of the fact that there is real pushback today to unravel progress that we have achieved in gender equality globally. The anti-rights movement is powerful, it is well-resourced, and it is only organizations such as the Inter-Parliamentary Union that have the legitimacy of the people that can help to push back on this. And if there is any ask, one last ask from me to this forum is that you should not relent in your efforts to prosecute the gender equality agenda in a very robust and stringent manner. We need to make sure that those who are fighting against rights, they are fighting against legitimacy, do not prevail any moment. So let me just conclude, Madam President of this forum, Mr. Speaker, President of the IPU and President of the Forum of Women Parliamentarians, by saying that we need more men at the table. Gender equality is not a women's issue. Gender equality is a societal issue, and we need men and women working together as allies in order to promote justice, because gender equality is a matter of justice and legitimacy. So thank you very much once again for the tributes that you have paid to my humble self. I did this out of a sense of duty, and wherever I am, I will not say I will be pulling the strings, but if, as somebody has suggested, the request for me to provide advice based on my experience, you can count on me to be very supportive, because once you're in the IPU, you never really leave the IPU. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Secretary General. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Secretary General, Ms. President, and Ms. Cynthia Lopez. We all know that you have a very busy schedule. Please feel free to leave whenever you need to. Thank you. Let us begin with our work with the adoption of the agenda. You have before you the agenda of the forum, which was discussed by the Bureau of Women Parliamentarians at the session held in Geneva in October 2025. I invite you to adopt the agenda by acclamation. A stronger acclamation, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, colleagues. The agenda is adopted. Our session today will continue until 6 p.m. with a lunch break from 1 to 2:30 p.m. We have many interesting matters to discuss, and I am sure we will have enlightening and interesting discussions. We will now consider item 3 of our agenda. It focuses on the recent activities to advance gender equality. I invite Mrs. Michelle Rampal-Gardner, member of the Bureau of Women Parliamentarians from Canada, to brief you on the work carried out by the Bureau of its last sittings. Mr. Rampal, you have the floor.
Thank you, colleagues. It's an honor to brief the Forum on the work carried out by the Bureau of Women Parliamentarians in Geneva in October and earlier this morning here in Istanbul. To start, on behalf of the members of the Bureau of Women Parliamentarians, I would like to thank the Bureau's President, Ms. Cynthia Lopez Castro, the IPU President, Ms. Tullia Aksen, the staff of the Bureau for their commitment to advancing the principle of gender equality within the IPU and globally. I would also like to thank our Turkish hosts for their generous hospitality and hard work in hosting this event. But most importantly, I would like to acknowledge the hard work of all of the fellow members of the Bureau. Thank you very much for your efforts. In Geneva, the Bureau debated on the situation of women and girls in conflict. We expressed our solidarity with those whose lives are shaped by war, displacement, and insecurity, and reaffirmed the importance of women's full involvement and leadership in peace efforts. That discussion helped guide the choice of the very timely topic for the Forum's panel discussion this afternoon. When we met this morning, our Bureau paid tribute to the work of outgoing IPU Secretary General as it related to the Forum. The Bureau will take note of the progress on the 4th IPU Regional Study on Sexism, Harassment, and Violence Against Women in Parliaments to focus on the Americas and the Caribbean. This work, carried out jointly with Parliamericas and the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, will result in a publication later this year in November. Colleagues, I encourage all of you from that region to participate in this important study through confidential interviews, and more information, including participation forms, is available in your documents. The Bureau will also continue its reflection on technology-facilitated violence against women in politics. Building on the e-safety training held in the Tashkent Assembly in 2025, the Bureau will hold a debate here today on disinformation, misinformation, and online violence. which we will later bring into the forum's discussions. Here in Istanbul, and with the very generous support of our hosts, the Bureau will also undertake a field visit to a violence prevention and monitoring center. The lessons from this visit will also help inform our work on violence against women and on effective institutional responses. Additionally, on Friday, a panel discussion on promoting diversity in parliaments will allow for knowledge and experience sharing to ensure representation of women and men in all of their diversity. I encourage you all to take part actively in that discussion. Thank you all for your attention. On behalf of the members of the Bureau, I wish you all very fruitful discussions throughout the day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Rampel Gardner. Dear colleagues, there are lots of noise in the room. Please be a little bit quiet. Now, let us turn our attention to the participation of men and women at this 152nd IPU Assembly and to the work of the Gender Partnership Group. The Gender Partnership Group is a structure composed of 2 men and 2 women, member of Executive Committee of IPU. It monitors and promotes gender equality and gender mainstreaming at IPU. I'm very pleased to invite Ms. Sevil Mikhailova from Azerbaijan, member of the Gender Partnership Group, to give us an overview of the work carried out by the group. You have the floor, Mr. Mikhailova. Ms. Mikhailova.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Dear President of the 55th session of the Bureau of Women Parliamentarians, Ms. Fatma Aksel, dear President of the Forum of Women Parliamentarians, dear colleagues, it is my great pleasure to brief you on the work of the Gender Partnership Group. But before, I would like to thank Türkiye for excellent organization of the 152nd Assembly of the Inter-Parliamentary Union and warm hospitality that we are experiencing here in Türkiye. As you know, the group's role is to promote equality between men and women, both within the IPU and national parliaments, and to guarantee a safe environment for everyone to participate. Yesterday, the group held its first sitting here in Istanbul. We welcomed 2 new members, Ms. Muti from Zambia and Mr. Griefer from Belgium. Also, our group elected me as the new chair, which is a role I feel honored to take on. As per our mandate, we monitored the participation of women delegates at this assembly. As of yesterday, 36.2% of the delegates announced here in Istanbul were women. We expect overall high participation at this assembly, with more than 750 MPs announced. Among them, we expect the highest number ever of women MPs for an in-person assembly, over 270. This is how strong the women's movement is at the IPU. Also, we expect few all-male delegations of 2 or more members, less than 7%. This is good news, colleagues. Let's hope these figures are confirmed as the assembly progresses. We also looked at gender balance in delegations. By that, we mean delegations that are composed of at least 40% of men and 40% of women. Out of 140 national delegations announced, 44 are gender balanced, which is much higher than at the last assembly. This is good, but not good enough. We know we can do better than this, and we must do better. Gender parity is our goal at the IPU, so let's spread the word in our geopolitical groups so for the next time we hit a new record of gender balanced delegations. The group also welcomed ongoing efforts to make the IPU policy to prevent harassment, including sexual harassment at assemblies and other meetings better known for everyone. We look not with appreciation for more people are coming forward to report about their incidents. This is an issue of great importance, and our group will continue monitoring the situation as per its mandate. Colleagues, we need all hands on deck so that the IPU can become a fully safe and respectful space for everyone. So we also invite you to take action at home, and the IPU stands ready to support all of you. The group also discussed the state of women's participation in national parliaments. We heard with concern about the slowdown in progress worldwide, with only 27.5% of MPs being women. This is an increase of only 0.3 percentage points compared to a year ago. Also, there has been a decrease in number of women speakers of parliaments. So clearly, we need to remain vigilant here and remind ourselves that no progress can be taken for granted. To continue to promote progress nationally as per its mandate here in Istanbul, our group will hold dialogues with delegations that have less than 10% women in parliament and offer our support. We know the value of peer-to-peer support as we pursue gender parity in decision-making, and we count on your confirmed engagement to promote this agenda. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Mikhailova, for your valuable presentation. Colleagues, we will now turn our attention to recent gender equality activities carried out by the IPU. I would like to start with information on the parliamentary meeting held recently in New York on the occasion of Commission on the Status of Women. I invite Senator Cynthia Lopez. Cynthia is not here. Oh, she's here. I'm sorry, Cynthia. I couldn't see you. Cynthia Lopez Castro, President of the IPU, Bureau of Women Parliamentarians, to report on the parliamentary meeting that she presided. You have the floor, Madam President.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Madam Chairperson. First of all, I want to apologize with Oman because I said that they have no women in parliament, but it was just in a chamber. They have two chambers, and I want to recognize the two members of parliament that are here. So thank you. I'm sorry they put me that data, and I'm so happy that you are here attending the IPU conference, and let's be working with Oman to have more women in parliament. Thank you so much. I'm sorry about that, yes. So just tell you, dear colleagues, thank you for all of you that attend the CSW Parliament meeting in the New York in March 11. We held our annual parliamentary meeting on the occasion of CSW in partnership with UN Women. So I want to tell you that our discussions focus on the role of parliaments in achieving parity in politics and ensuring access to justice for women and girls. We concluded that gender-sensitive parity parliaments are required so that laws and policies respond to the needs and realities of women and girls and delivered justice systems that are fair and accessible to all. We also identified three key priority actions. First, parliaments must guarantee gender parity and ensure that decision-making takes place in inclusive institutions from free violence, harassment, and discrimination. Second, must adopt and oversee laws and policies that promote equal access to justice for women and girls. Repealing discriminatory laws is a key action, especially in areas such as inheritance, nationality, property ownership, employment, and access to finance. We must also ensure to accessible systems that are free from barriers and biases and equipped implementation and enforcement. And third, we need to build alliances. We must work closely with civil society, and we need active engagement with men supporting gender equality. That's why I am very happy to have men in this room, in this assembly. Thank you for your attendance, and only men and women can do it together. So I urge you to advance these priorities in our national countries And just I want to share that recently in Mexico with our President Claudia Sheinbaum, we approved a law that is equal hours, equal pay. Because in most of our countries, women work the same hours, but they earn 30% less than men. So we have already approved that law, equal work for equal pay, and we will be sharing with you some insights in the next hours with the discussion, so we can have more ideas of what to do in our country. So, Madam Chair, this is the report for the CSW parliamentary meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam President, for the information about the report. Now, with great pleasure, I would like to invite Ms. Sabiha Gafarova, Speaker of the National Assembly of Azerbaijan, to share with us the calls made by Women Speaker of the Parliaments through the report of 15th Summit. Madam Speaker, please, the floor is yours.
Madam President of the Forum of Women Parliamentarians, Madam President of the Bureau of Women Parliamentarians, dear colleagues, distinguished guests. First of all, I'd like to greet all of you and to say that it's a great honor and pleasure for me to be today here and meet with you. And I am pleased to launch today the report of the 15th Summit. Dear colleagues, the 15th Summit of Women Speakers of Parliament was held on 28 July 2025. It precedes the 6th World Conference of Speakers of Parliament. This report is essential at a time marked by heated conflict, tensions, uncertainties, and growing inequalities. We and our parliaments must be part of the solution, as our world today needs the wisdom of dialogue and the strength of inclusion to foster peace. The report I am launching today is not only a document, it is a declaration adopted by women speakers of parliament, committing to rally parliaments and lead their action for peace and inclusion. Dear colleagues, calls for action don't always come in quiet moments. They come at times of crisis, conflict, and of backlash. And as we see escalating violence, war, and insecurity in so many corners of the world, impacting women and girls and their future so harshly, this moment demands that we reinforce and accelerate our efforts. As women speakers, we express deep concern about the state of the world. We express our solidarity with all women and girls living in areas of conflict and wars. I invite this forum to express that same solidarity here today. Dear colleagues, we called for full respect of international humanitarian and human rights law and for peaceful, negotiated settlements of conflict. We recommended to advance gender-sensitive diplomacy, inclusive peace processes, and greater women's leadership in diplomacy and foreign affairs. We placed gender equality and the elimination of discrimination and violence against women and girls at the heart of building and sustaining peace. Dear colleagues, I urge this forum to take ownership of these calls. At this forum, we'll discuss the role of parliaments in restoring just and lasting peace later this morning and the impact of conflicts on women and girls this afternoon. I encourage you to incorporate the recommendations put forth by women speakers into your deliberations. We welcome the report of the 15th Summit of Women Speakers of Parliament on leading for inclusive and lasting peace, and we believe it can help you in these endeavors. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I'm now inviting Ms. Ivana Stamavovic, member of the National Assembly of Republic of Serbia and member of the IPU Bureau of Young Parliamentarians, to say a few words about the upcoming IPU Global Conference of Women Parliamentarians. You have the floor, Ivana.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues, member parliamentarians, members of the IPU. I have the great honor to invite you all to Belgrade, Serbia, from 2nd to 4th of June for the Global Conference of Women Parliamentarians. This year, we will gather around for a very important theme: advancing parity and breaking the barriers of gender stereotypes and negative social norms. It is a challenge that continues to shape our political systems and societies, and that calls for stronger cooperation and concrete action. Serbia sees this conference not just as an event, but as an opportunity to connect, exchange real experiences, and come out with the ideas that we can actually take back and implement. I also want to invite you that we have a stand in the floor before the Great Hall where the General Assembly will be taking place. Please visit our stand. We have sweet treats and souvenirs for you to take a little bit home to understand what you're gonna experience in Belgrade. Also, I have to say a big thank you to the IPU team and Zaina for helping us organize this conference. And I have to say a big thank you to our team from Republic of Serbia National Assembly who organized the stand at this conference. We are looking forward to seeing you in Belgrade, to discussing these important themes, and really an honor to host you. At the end, I have to invite you to watch a short video that we have prepared to give you a glimpse of what are we planning and the atmosphere we want to create. We're really looking forward to seeing you in Belgrade, and thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation and hosting the conference. Now we have the video. wonderful. A big thank you to the host of the conference. Now, dear colleagues, as we go into item 4 our agenda, we will now turn to the contribution of the forum to the work of this 152nd Assembly. As you know, all this Assembly, we will be considering 2 draft resolutions. The first draft resolution is on the role of parliaments in establishing robust post-conflict management mechanism and restoring a just and lasting peace. It is on the agenda of the Standing Committee on Peace and International Security. The second draft resolution is on building a fair, sustainable global economy, the role of parliaments in combating protectionism, reducing tariffs, and preventing corporate tax avoidance. This draft resolution is considered by the Standing Committee on Sustainable Development. As decided by the Bureau of Women Parliamentarians, we will divide into 2 groups to discuss these draft resolutions. Group 1 will consider the draft resolution on the role of parliaments in establishing robust post-conflict management mechanism and restoring a just and lasting peace. Group 1 will meet here in the Crystal Ballroom. Group 2 will focus on the draft resolution on building a fair and sustainable global economy, the role of parliaments in combating protectionism, reducing tariffs, and preventing corporate tax avoidance. Group 2 will meet in the garden room, which is in next door. The purpose of each group will be to discuss the draft resolutions from a gender perspective, so that amendments can be drawn to make the draft more gender-focused, responsive, and inclusive to the needs and interests of women. Each group will have interpretation in Arabic, English, French, and Spanish, and will discuss until 1 p.m. For each group, Bureau of Women Parliamentarians has nominated a chairperson and a rapporteur. For Group 1, the Bureau has nominated Ms. Cynthia Lopez Castro from Mexico as chair, and Ms. Riem Macau from Tunisia as rapporteur. For Group 2, the Bureau has nominated Ms. Rada Abunayem from Saudi Arabia as chair and Ms. Sharon Clayton from Australia as rapporteur. Do you approve these nominations? Acclamation? I see no opposition. Thank you, colleagues. Thank you also to the chairperson and rapporteurs of the groups for taking these important tasks. Now, I'm pleased to welcome the co-rapporteurs of the draft resolution under consideration who have kindly accepted our invitations to present their overall scope. Mr. Burlich, Member of Parliament from Netherlands, will introduce the draft resolution on the role of parliaments in establishing robust post-conflict management mechanism and restoring a just and lasting peace, of which she is a co-rapporteur. Ms. Sabo, Member of the National Assembly from Zambia, will introduce the draft resolution on building a fair and sustainable global economy, the role of parliaments in combating protectionism, reducing tariffs, and preventing corporate tax avoidance, of which she is a co-rapporteur. Let's start with Ms. Beldridge. Ms. Beldridge, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair and esteemed colleagues. Allow me to begin briefly recalling the essence of this draft resolution. It addresses a critical and recurring challenge, the difficulty of transforming peace agreements into just, lasting, and sustainable peace. Too often, conflicts re-emerge because post-conflict management remains weak, whether due to fragile institutions, lack of accountability, insufficient resources, or exclusion. This resolution, therefore, provides a comprehensive and actionable framework for parliaments to strengthen post-conflict governance, ensure accountability and justice, promote inclusive recovery, and mobilize sustained international support. Within this broader framework, one essential dimension of the resolution is its strong and consistent focus on the role of women in building sustainable peace. The resolution starts from a clear recognition. Conflict does not involve nor affect all equally. Women are often among those most severely impacted through displacement, loss of livelihoods, increased exposure to violence, and limited access to justice and services. At the same time, their voices remain too often underrepresented in decision-making processes, particularly in post-conflict recovery. However, the resolution goes beyond this observation. It firmly affirms that women are not only victims of conflict, but essential actors of peace. In line with United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325, the draft resolution calls on parliaments to move from recognition to action by institutionalizing the full, equal, and meaningful participation of women across all stages of peace processes, from negotiations to reconstruction and oversight. This is reflected throughout the structure of the text. First, in the area of institutions and governance, the resolution encourages parliaments to ensure that women are actively involved in legislative processes, transitional justice mechanisms, and oversight structures. This is key, ensuring that laws and policies reflect the realities and needs of all members of society. Second, in terms of economic recovery, the resolution highlights the importance of directing resources towards those most affected by conflict, including women, and ensuring that reconstruction efforts are inclusive and equitable. Third, in the dimension of social reconciliation, it emphasizes the need to support trauma-informed approaches and community-level dialogue, recognizing that women often play a central role in rebuilding trust and social cohesion at the local level. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, the resolution promotes inclusive political life by calling for concrete legal and institutional measures to remove barriers to women's participation in national dialogue so that they are effectively taking part in national dialogues, reconciliation processes, and public decision-making. This is not only a matter of equity, it is a matter of effectiveness. Peace processes that include women are more likely to be sustainable, legitimate, and resilient. This is because women often broaden the agenda beyond immediate power-sharing arrangements to include the root causes of conflict, social priorities, and the everyday realities of communities. Their participation helps ensure that peace agreements reflect the needs of society as a whole, which, in turn, builds public trust and ownership, thereby laying the essential foundation for lasting peace. Overall, this resolution sends a strong message. If we are serious about building a just and lasting peace, we must ensure that women are fully recognized, fully included, and fully empowered at every stage of the process. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Belrich, for all the information you have given to us. Now, Ms. Sabo, the floor is yours.
Thanks so much, Honorable Chairperson and esteemed members of the Forum of Women Parliamentarians. It is my honor to share with you today a few highlights in my capacity as rapporteur of the Standing Orders on Sustainable Development at the 152th IPU Assembly. The draft resolution before us on the theme is Building a Fair and Sustainable Global Economy, the role of parliaments in combating protectionism, reducing tariffs, and preventing corporate tax avoidance. The theme offers a timely opportunity to reimagine economic governance through a gender-responsive lens. Our task is clear: to ensure that the policies we shape do not merely aim for growth, but for inclusive and equitable growth. Honorable Chairperson, evidence consistently shows that women face disproportionate barriers to economic participation, from legal constraints and limited access to finance, to the enduring gender, digital divide, and gaps in trade literacy. Women remain at a structural disadvantage. Furthermore, women are overrepresented in informal and low-paid sectors, often lacking adequate social protection. As a result, they are more vulnerable to economic shocks, disruption in global trade, and the consequences of fiscal austerity. Therefore, parliaments, as custodian of public policy and accountability, have a central role to play in addressing these disparities. Firstly, we must promote gender-responsive fiscal and trade policies. This includes institutionalizing gender budgeting practices, ensuring that national budgets and tax systems are assessed for their differential impact on women and men. It also requires integrating gender provisions into trade agreements so that women entrepreneurs and workers can benefit equitably from market opportunities. Secondly, we must champion good practices that shield women from the adverse effects of economic disruptions. This includes supporting women-led enterprises through targeted access to credit, capacity building in trade literacy, and the use of public procurement policies that prioritize gender equality. Importantly, the correction and use of sex-disaggregated data must be strengthened, as it is essential for informed and effective policy making. Thirdly, and not the least, we must strengthen social protection systems and legal frameworks. Comprehensive social protections such as maternity benefits, unemployment insurance, and pension schemes can mitigate the vulnerabilities faced by women in informal employment. Legal reforms must also address discriminatory laws that hinder women's full economic participation. Madam Chairperson, multinational corporations are responsible for an estimated 1/3 of global economic output, half of the world's exports, and almost 1/4 of global employment. However, an estimated $1.42 trillion of profit generated by such corporations is shifted into tax havens every year. This tax avoidance practice not only causes a loss of $348 billion a year in vital direct tax revenue, but also undermines state sovereignty, erodes the social contract, increases inequality within countries, and creates an even playing field for domestic operations who are unable to compete with their multinational competitors. Madam Chairperson, globalization and digitalization have inadvertently provided the means by which multinational corporations can avoid their tax obligations and therefore circumvent contributing to the common good. Globalization makes tracing and documenting taxable profits difficult, enabling corporations to change their location and legal residence, and thus the formal legal regime under which they operate. These practices are designated and facilitated by multinational accounting, assurance, and tax advice services. International and regional corporations are therefore central components of any efforts to combat tax avoidance practices, helping to ensure that these companies pay tax where their corporate income is delivered. Madam Chairperson, Parliaments have a key role to play in addressing the challenges arising from global economic integration, including trade policies, protectionism measures, and corporate tax avoidance. Through these legislative, oversight, and budgetary functions, Parliament can promote transparent, fair, and equitable taxation, scrutinize trade and tax-related agreements, and ensure that national policies on trade, tariffs, and taxations are coherent and aligned with sustainable development objectives. They can do so in a number of ways, including by conducting independent inquiries into trade and tax treaties, and by working multilaterally with the United Nations, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and other regional forums with a view to strengthening the design and implementation of such policies, as well as their contributions to inclusive growth, domestic resource mobilization, social cohesion, and the long-term legitimacy of the global economic system. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Savo, all the information you have given to us. Now we would like to very please if Ms. Beldridge and Ms. Sabo could stay with us and join the groups. And now we are going to get into two groups, and we'll have time, we'll discuss until 1:20, and for afternoon session, we'll be here in Crystal Ballroom at 2:30 p.m. sharp, please. Thank you to all.
Okay, dear members, we're dividing in two groups now. Group 1 stays here, Group 1, and Group 2 goes in garden. My colleagues will guide you to garden.
Okay, so we will divide it into groups. So one, please follow colleague Graciela. They will be in the other group. Yes, and we will stay here. We will be talking about which group practices exist ensuring meaningful participation of women and gender perspectives. Stay here, yeah.
Group 2, please, you can move now to garden. So my colleagues are there waiting for members who would like to join Group 2 on sustainable development.
Okay, we will start the Group 1 because we don't have a lot of time. Yes. Okay, so I will start with the Group 1, so we have 1 hour and 20 minutes to have participations for all the countries. So following the proposal of the Bureau of Women Parliamentarians, Ms. Rim Mashaoui, well, I will wait so everybody can decide their group. And okay, just an important announce. First, please, I need silence in the room so we can continue. Second, countries that want to participate, please give Graciela, that is here, the slips with the name of your country so we can have the participations, please. Graciela will be recollecting the slips, so you have like this. Give it to Graciela, please. Now I need silence so I can continue. If not, we don't have time for participations. So, where is Mexico? Here. So, I will continue. So, it's a great pleasure to have here okay, Graciela, please give all the sleeves that they want. If someone needs more, Graciela has the sleeves. Graciela, here, there. Okay. Please let me continue so we can go on time. So, following the proposal of the Bureau of Women Parliamentarians, Ms. Rim Mashawi from Tunisia has been appointed as rapporteur of our discussion. So we both very much look forward to our debates today. I have no doubt that our discussions will be constructive and fruitful. So before I make a few introductory remarks, I would like to remind that those wishing to speak, please fill the sleeve and put it and give it to the team that is here so we can have the list for the participations. So as a start, let me remind you that some documents are available of IPU dedicated of the Assembly webpage and the Assembly app. You have also QR codes. And as you know, we will be discussing the subject item before the Standing Committee on Peace and International Security, the role of parliaments in establishing robust post-conflict management mechanisms and restoring a just and lasting peace. Our discussion today will aim at considering the gender dimension of this topic. The objective is to put together a set of proposals, gender amendments to have the resolution to be adopted. We may also decide to support amendments that have already been proposed in case they echo some of our concerns. These amendments will be considered by the Standing Committee during its debates. So we are ready for the interventions. Please, we need more silence in the room so we can listen our colleagues. And I want to send a big hug to your country, is UAE Sarah, you have the floor for 2 minutes, please.
Sure, thank you. السيدات والسادة، ترى الشعبة البرلمانية الإماراتية أهمية إدراج التعديلات التالية على المشروع القرار بما يسهم في تعزيز الإطار الحقوقي والإنساني لمعالجة هذه الممارسات، وعليه تقترح الشعبة البرلمانية الإماراتية إدخال التعديلات التالية على مشروع القرار. أولاً، ترى أهمية إضافة فقرة جديدة بعد فقرة رقم 11 من المشروع القرار تنص على تعزيز التوازن في الأدوار والمسؤوليات بين النساء والرجال في جميع مراحل إدارة ما بعد النزاعات وبناء السلام، بما يشمل تقاسم مواقع القيادة وصنع القرار داخل المؤسسات التشريعية والتنفيذية وآليات المتابعة وضمان شراكة المتكافئة في تحمل المسؤولية. ثانياً، في فقرة 13 من مشروع القرار تقترح تعديلات بحيث تصبح تحث البرلمانات على تعزيز الحوار السياسي البناء وبناء التوافق من خلال إنشاء أو تعزيز منصات برلمانية عابرة للأحزاب تشجع التعاون عبر الانقسامات السياسية ومعالجة القوالب النمطية المرتبطة بالنوع الاجتماعي التي قد تعيق المشاركة المتكافئة للنساء والرجال في العمليات السياسية والانتقالية، وتعزيز ثقافة التقاسم المسؤوليات في إعادة بناء المجتمعات ما بعد النزاعات، وضمان أن تعكس التحولات السياسية والإصلاحات الانتخابية والعمليات السياسية الشاملة احتياجات وحقوق وتطلعات الفئات والمجتمعات التي عانت تاريخياً من نقص التمثيل والمتأثرة بالعنف أو عدم الاستقرار. فإننا نرى أهمية هذا التعديل باعتبار أن مرحلة ما بعد النزاع تشكل فرصة لإعادة بناء العقد الاجتماعي على أسس أكثر عدلاً ومساواة. شكراً.
Thank you so much for respecting the time. Now it will be Thailand, Mexico, Egypt, Zimbabwe. So, Thailand, you have the floor for 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. Madam Chairpersons, delegates, and colleagues. My name is Picharat Lauhapongchana, Member of Parliament from Thailand. In every conflict, women are often seen as victims, but in reality, they are the ones holding family together, rebuilding trust, and keeping communities alive. And the evidence is clear. Peace agreements are significantly more likely to last when women are meaningfully involved. If we are serious about lasting peace, we must move beyond seeing women as beneficiaries and start recognizing them as builders of peace. Thailand would like to offer 3 practical actions. First, access to decision-making. Women must be at the table, not as a symbol, but as decision-makers, in negotiations, in parliament, and in rebuilding institutions. Second, real protection, both offline and online. Protection must go beyond policy. It must be enforced, especially to address rising risks in digital spaces. And third, targeted recovery and funding. Post-conflict recovery must reflect real needs: healthcare, education, and economic opportunity for women and vulnerable groups. And importantly, budget must follow these priorities. In Thailand, we have taken a step forward. In 2025, we launched our National Action Plan on Women, Peace and Security to ensure women are part of conflict prevention, peace processes, and long-term recovery. Today, we call on all parliaments to move from commitment to implementation to ensure that national action plans are measured and deliver with real impact. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I'm just asking the people that is helping with the cameras if you can help us always focus the person that is talking. We will appreciate it so much. The next person that is talking. So now it will be Mexico, Egypt, Zimbabwe, Morocco, and Niger, and Chile. So Mexico, you have the floor for 2 minutes.
Thank you. Distinguidas presidentas, colegas parlamentarias, representantes internacionales. Estar hoy aquí entre mujeres parlamentarias de tantos países tiene un significado profundo. Nos reúne un mismo compromiso: seguir impulsando desde nuestros parlamentos la igualdad, la paz y el desarrollo sostenible, porque cada una de nosotros representa una historia de lucha para abrir espacios que durante mucho tiempo estuvieron cerrados. Hoy, las mujeres no solo estamos presentes en los parlamentos, estamos transformando la vida pública. Y cuando las mujeres llegamos a estos espacios, no llegamos solas. Llegamos con la voz de nuestras comunidades, con la experiencia de quienes saben lo que significa cuidar, resistir y salir adelante. Y eso también cambia la manera de hacer política. En México hemos dado pasos importantes. La paridad dejó de ser una aspiración y se convirtió en un principio constitucional. Y la llegada de una mujer a la presidencia de la República expresa también un cambio de época en la vida pública de nuestro país. Pero ese avance no debe entenderse solo como una conquista nacional. Debe verse como parte de una convicción más amplia. Cuando las mujeres participan en la toma de decisiones, la democracia se fortalece, las instituciones se vuelven más representativas y las políticas públicas responden mejor a la realidad de nuestras sociedades. El mundo vive momentos especialmente complejos. Los conflictos se multiplican, las desigualdades se profundizan y en muchos lugares los derechos de las mujeres y las niñas enfrentan retrocesos preocupantes. Por eso este espacio importa, porque los parlamentos no pueden limitarse a acompañar los cambios, tenemos que impulsarlos. Nos corresponde defender la igualdad, fortalecer la paz y garantizar que ninguna crisis, por profunda que sea, se convierta en pretexto para debilitar los derechos. Desde México sostenemos que no puede haber paz duradera sin igualdad sustantiva, ni desarrollo sostenible sin la participación plena de las mujeres. Y quiero cerrar con una convicción que compartimos muchas de las que estamos aquí. Cuando una mujer llega, abre camino, pero cuando las mujeres llegamos juntas, transformamos la historia. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Liz Sanchez, Senator from Mexico. And now we have the floor, Egypt, for 2 minutes, please.
Thank you, Mrs. President, and I would like also to thank the Republic of Turkey and the Parliament of Turkey for hosting this important event. Allow me to speak in Arabic, please. أعتقد أن مشروع القرار في غاية الأهمية، وأنه أهم من هذا القرار هو كيفية الالتزام به ووضع خارطة طريق لتطبيقه، لأنه إذا لم نستطع تطبيق هذا القرار هيبقى طبعا غير مجدي. الأساس في هذه المرحلة أن تكون المرأة شريكاً فعالاً في صنع السلام وليس على هامشه، نظراً لدور المرأة المحوري في استقرار الأسرة وتماسك المجتمع. ومن هنا يقع على عاتق البرلمانات مسؤولية ضمان أن تصبح مشاركة المرأة في بناء السلام وإعادة الإعمار جزءاً أساسياً في السياسة الوطنية. وفي هذا الإطار بيقوم البرلمان المصري وهي تجربة مصرية بدور مهم من خلال دعم التشريعات التي تحمي حقوق الإنسان وتعزز السلم المجتمعي والعمل على ضمان وصول المرأة إلى مواقع صنع القرار ومشاركتها في لجان المصالحة الوطنية وعمليات الوساطة المجتمعية وبرامج إعادة الإعمار. كما يحرص البرلمان المصري على دعم السياسات التي تمكن المرأة سياسياً واقتصادياً واجتماعياً. ومن هنا أعتقد أن هناك محوران مهمان لهذا القرار. أولاً هو مشاركة المرأة في صنع القرار وفي المرحلة ما بعد النزاع، وأيضاً مساعدة الحكومات الأخرى على أن تتدخل في إعادة البناء. فالحكومة المصرية تتبنى نهجاً شاملاً في إدارة مرحلة ما بعد النزاعات قائماً على الكرامة الإنسانية والدمج الاجتماعي، وتعتمد مصر نموذجاً دمج الوافدين من مناطق النزاع في المجتمع دون إقامة مخيمات، مما يعزز التماسك الاجتماعي ويحافظ على الكرامة الإنسانية. تستضيف مصر أكثر من 10 ملايين ضيفاً من السودان وسوريا وليبيا واليمن وفلسطين وبلاد أخرى. وتضمن الحكومة حصول النساء والفتيات على الخدمات الأساسية، التعليم، الرعاية الصحية، إدماجهم في المبادرات الوطنية خاصة في أوقات الأزمات في مصر. تعمل مصر بالتعاون مع المنظمات الدولية على دعم اللاجئين والنازحين إلى جانب تطبيق أطر قانونية لتنظيم الإقامة وحماية الحقوق ومكافحة الإتجار بالبشر والهجرة غير الشرعية. وفي الختام، إن نجاح إدارة مرحلة ما بعد النزاعات تهتم وتتطلب تعاوننا بالتعاون بين التشريع الذي يضمن كل البرلمانات أن تكون تمثل أو تهتم بالحماية القانونية للمرأة، بينما توفر السياسات الحكومية التمكين الاقتصادي والاجتماعي لدعم وبناء مجتمعات أكثر استقراراً وعدالة وسلاماً تكون فيه المرأة شريكاً أساسياً في إعادة الإعمار وصنع المستقبل. شكراً.
Thank you so much for the respect of the time. Now, our speaker from Zimbabwe, 2 minutes, please.
Thank you, President. As women parliamentarians, we recognize that peace processes that exclude women risk undermining sustainable recovery and stability. Women and girls who are disproportionately affected by conflict are not just beneficiaries of peace, but key architects of it. Their participation strengthens institutions, promotes social cohesion, and builds resilient, just societies. Parliaments and women legislators in particular must lead in establishing conflict management mechanisms and monitoring peace-building efforts. Madam President, our Parliament is a regional leader in promoting women's involvement in post-conflict management. Our Constitution provides a strong legal framework, including independent commissions, such as the Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission and the Zimbabwe Gender Commission, with the gender balance ensured under Section 17 to support justice. Gender-based violence remains a major threat to peace and equality, guided by the National Gender Policy. Parliament is strengthening enforcement of the Domestic Violence Act and expanding survivor support services, including safe houses and one-stop centers, while allocating necessary resources. The broader National Development Strategy 2026-2030 further places peace, security, and good governance at the center of development, recognizing women's empowerment as key to the national resilience. Additionally, Parliament contributed to the National Action Plan under UN Security Council Resolution 1325, promoting women's participation in conflict prevention, peace building, and recovery. Parliaments play a critical role in sustaining peace through three main artificial roles. One, inclusive lawmaking that ensure representation of affected groups. Two, oversight of peace agreements and transitional justice process. And three, institutional reforms that strengthen democracy, rule of law, and accountability. These actions are essential to building trust, preventing relapse into conflict, and ensuring lasting peace. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, my dear speaker from Zimbabwe. It's a pleasure to have you here, as always. Now is the turn to Morocco. You have 3 minutes, then Niger, and then Chile. Morocco, you have the floor.
شكرا سيدتي. التحية لكل زميلاتي والزملاء الحاضرين هنا معنا. إننا في الوفد المغربي ننطلق من قناعة راسخة بأن النساء لسن فقط الضحايا الأبرز للعنف والنزوح في مناطق النزاع، بل هن الصانعات الحقيقيات للسلام، وذلك وصانعات التماسك الاجتماعي في مرحلة التعافي. وبناء على ذلك نرى أن مشروع القرار الموضوع أمام اللجنة الدائمة يحتاج إلى لغة أكثر حزماً لترجمة التزامات الخطة الأممية المتعلقة بالمرأة والسلام والأمن إلى واقع مؤسساتي ملموس. لذا نعتبر أن مرحلة ما بعد النزاع لا يمكن أن تكون مجرد محاولة لاستعادة وضع ما قبل النزاع، بل هي في الواقع فرصة تاريخية يجب استغلالها لتصحيح الاختلالات الجندرية الهيكلية وإرساء مساواة حقيقية في الحكامة. ومن هذا المنبر نقترح في الوفد المغربي على مجموعتنا أن ترفع تعديلات صريحة للجنة الدائمة تلزم الدول بضمان التمثيلية النسائية الفعلية والهادفة في لجان الوساطة وطاولات التفاوض وتأسيس آليات العدالة الانتقالية. يتعين علينا إذن كشبكة برلمانية نسائية أن نضغط من أجل إدراج فقرات صريحة في مشروع القرار تلزم الحكومات بوضع خطط عمل وطنية في إطار الموارد الكافية والتمويلات الضرورية. والأهم من هذا وذاك أنه إذا كان العالم اليوم يعيش مجموعة من الصراعات حول المصالح والنزاعات في مناطق النفوذ والخيرات، فلقد آن الأوان لبلورة وعي مختلف. هذا الوعي يقتضي إدراك أن النساء يشكلن أهم خيرات العالم، باعتبارهن يشكلن على الأقل نصف القدرة في مجال إعادة البناء وفي إطار التغيير وإنتاج البدائل الضرورية. فلما لا يتحول الصراع اليوم إلى تنافس حقيقي حول التمكين الاقتصادي للنساء عبر العالم، حول وضع آليات تشريعية تكفل الولوجية إلى الثروة. ألسنا نصف العالم فلنتقاسم ثروات هذا العالم. بالإضافة كنقطة أخيرة إلى ضرورة وضع النساء في قلب الفعل الديمقراطي والمشاركة من أجل إعادة البناء الديمقراطي والمؤسساتي باعتبارهن ذوات مفكرة ولسنا فقط ضحايا وموضوعا للتفكير. وشكرا.
Thank you so much, Member of Parliament from Morocco. Now, Niger has the floor for 2 minutes, please.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Merci, vraiment, j'apprécie positivement la prise en compte de cette résolution qui est importante, qu'il faut transformer en un cadre robuste d'encouragement des pays à élaborer des stratégies et surtout un plan d'action multisectoriel qui aborde la plupart des mécanismes, qu'ils soient législatifs, les cadres institutionnels, mais opérationnels pour la gestion, d'abord la prévention, qui doit commencer par la prévention, la prise en compte du genre et de l'équité, de la participation des femmes à tous les niveaux, que ce soit au niveau central, mais surtout au niveau communautaire et rural où les femmes sont impactées. Notre pays, le Niger, est dans l'espèce AES, la confédération de l'AES, qui est en proie à l'extrémisme violent. Et la plupart des populations aujourd'hui impactées sont majoritairement des femmes et des enfants qui sont déplacés, qui sont en proie à manque d'éducation parce qu'ils sont déplacés dans des zones de conflit où ils avaient leur terre. Ils sont impactés dans leur économie et aujourd'hui, pour la prévention et surtout au moment de la reconstruction, il faut penser à leur réinsertion socio-économique, accompagnée de programmes de prise en charge psychosociale des enfants et même de ces femmes pour pouvoir les réinsérer dans leur communauté et accompagner d'accès à l'éducation, à la santé et aussi à la terre, parce que même l'espace, quand on quitte plusieurs années, on doit retourner dans son terroir, il faut trouver de l'espace pour y loger. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you so much. Now, Chile has the floor for 3 minutes, then for 2 minutes, then Islamic Republic of Iran, and Namibia. So, Chile, tiene
Bien.
la palabra.
Sí, acá. Muchas gracias, Presidenta. Cuando hablamos de perspectiva de género, yo prefiero hablar de igualdad de oportunidades, de equidad, de desarrollo y de cambio cultural. Y ese cambio cultural que todavía no logramos por cuanto, sin perjuicio de todas las políticas públicas, incluso leyes, como es en el caso de Chile, ley de cuotas, por ejemplo, que obliga a un porcentaje determinado, un 40% de un no menor de un sexo para postular, por ejemplo, a lo que es la Cámara de Diputados, resulta que no se logra ese mismo resultado en las elecciones. Es decir, todavía no está realmente la conciencia de incorporar a las mejores personas en lo que es candidatura, como también de parte de la ciudadanía a la hora de elegir. Es decir, me parece que no están mirando el sexo de una persona, sino que finalmente el mérito, la capacidad, que es lo que yo creo que tiene que ser. Sin perjuicio de ello, y hemos mantenido un porcentaje alrededor de un 35, 33% en los últimos gobiernos de diferentes ideologías, izquierda, derecha, se ha mantenido esta participación, digo, de las mujeres, entonces muchas veces quedan más en consignas o temas que se escapan del fondo, sino que en materias más bien ideológicas y que poco avanzan en proteger a las mujeres. A mí me parece, y lo estamos viendo a través de leyes, no se logra efectivamente el resultado que quisiéramos. Y cuando hablamos de cruzar o transversalizar en cada una de las instituciones del Estado esta mirada hacia protección o oportunidad de las mujeres, que puede estar, y se ha logrado presidenta de la República, se logra presidenta de la Unión Interparlamentaria y en otros espacios donde presiden las mujeres, pero lo que a mí me preocupa y que sigue estando todavía latente es la violencia, el abuso que sufren miles, millones de mujeres probablemente en sus espacios más íntimos, como es la familia o los espacios de donde ellas realizan su vida anónimamente y que hoy día no se ha superado. En nuestro país los femicidios no han disminuido, la violencia contra las mujeres no ha disminuido, violencia intrafamiliar, digo, habiendo leyes que protegen, pero insisto, el cambio cultural todavía no lo hemos conseguido. Entonces, ¿qué me parece que tiene que haber desde la política pública? Un apoyo, y eso significa también recursos mucho más potentes en materia precisamente de desarrollar la autonomía económica, porque la violencia contra las mujeres desde el espacio más íntimo del hogar se da o se facilita mucho más cuando no hay la autonomía y la capacidad económica para pararse de igual a igual frente al hombre o la pareja. De la misma manera, las casas de acogida, las redes de apoyo deben ser muy, muy fuertes y dar un tiempo prolongado. No basta con acoger cuando ocurre el episodio de violencia, sino que esto tiene que darse por mucho tiempo, por años, y estar siempre permanentemente acogiendo a las mujeres que son víctimas de violencia y que también son sus hijos. Creo que ese es un tema que sigue latente y tenemos que abordarlo de manera muy potente a nivel mundial. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias a la parlamentaria de Chile. Now Namibia has the floor for 2 minutes, then Lao, then Malawi. Namibia, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Madam President of the Women's Forum of IPU. Colleagues and delegates, I bring greetings from our beautiful land, Namibia, and wish to express gratitude to the IPU for convening this critical forum. My name is Iswaran Roy, Member of Parliament in the National Council, the upper house of Namibian Parliament. I come before you today from a nation that knows the heavy cost of silence and the transformative power of dialogue. In Namibia, our very independence was forged in the fires of liberation struggle, where women did not just wait for peace. We marched for it, fought for it, and negotiated for it. It was exactly 25 years ago. During Namibia's presidency of the UN Security Council, that we championed Resolution 1325. Just last year, we honored that legacy in Windhoek by adopting Windhoek 25 Declaration, reaffirming the women are not just bystanders in peace, but its primary architects. 25 years ago, in the halls of United Nations in New York, under the determined presidency of Namibia, the Security Council acknowledged a fundamental truth that cannot build a lasting peace while leaving women behind. UN Security Council Resolution 1325 was just not a piece of paper, it was a resolution. It gave us the 4 pillars: participation, protection, prevention, and relief that to transform women from victims of war into architects of peace. We have seen the data. We know that when women are at the negotiating table, peace agreements and 35% more likely to last. Today, my country, Namibia, has become a torchbearer of this mission. Namibia didn't just help pass the resolutions, they loved it. From the first National Action Plan to the historic Windhoek 25 Declaration, we have shown us that the women, peace and security agenda must evolve. However, work is far from over. While we have passed 9 follow-up resolutions from Security Council 1820, which recognize sexual violence as a weapon of war, to SCR 2467, which centers the rights of survivors. The gap between policy and practice remains wide. Women represent less than 10% of formal negotiators globally. As we reflect on this, let us remember that Resolution 1325 is a living mandate. It calls on us to find women-led organizations, to protect women human rights defenders, and to ensure that participation means more than just a seat at the table. It means a voice that is heard and that matters. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and congratulations because you have a female president just elected.
Thank you.
Now, Lau has the floor for 2 minutes, please.
Madam Chairman, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to express my sincere appreciation for the IPU and the Grand National Assembly of Türkiye for convening this Forum of Women Parliamentarians. I highly value the forum's vital role in promoting women's participation in parliamentary life and advancing parliamentary action for the gender equality. In this regard, parliaments should play an important responsibility for an attention to ensure that the rights and interests of women and girls are effectively protected and advanced in the real life. When women participate in decision-making, our society becomes more inclusive and responsive to the needs of the peoples. For the LAPDR, the advancement of women is closely linked to the policy of the national development, family well-being, social harmony, and community resilience. We have just successfully organized the general election for the 10th legislature in last February. As the result, it is the first time in the LAPDR that women have been elected as the members of National Assembly, composed almost 30% of 175 National Assembly members. The Lao National Assembly highly values cooperation with the IPU and with the fellow parliaments in promoting the role of women's participation. Let us work together to ensure that women and girls are fully empowered to continue to contribute to peace, development, and the future of our society. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Member of Parliament from Laos, Malawi has the floor for 2 minutes, and then France, Veronique. But first, Malawi, please.
Oh, thank you, Chair. My name is Dr. Catherine Mzumara from Malawi. I bring you greetings from the beautiful people of Malawi. Colleagues, behind every conflict, displacement, and violence, there is a mother who has lost a child, a young girl who has lost her future, and a woman who has lost her dignity, her home, and her voice. In all this devastation, women bear the heaviest burden. They face unspeakable violence that are driven from their lands. They watch their children go hungry, without schools, without clinics, without hope. Honorable colleagues, this must break our hearts and it must move us to action. As parliamentarians, we've been given a sacred trust. We are the platforms for dialogue, the architects of laws, the guardians of oversight, but our law is empty if our laws are hollow. if we do not breathe into them a gender perspective that is real, that is raw, and that is relentless. Let us legislate for gender equality that pass laws that protect women from violence, that tear down the structures of exclusion, and that which build up the architecture of inclusion. And to let us allocate resources for women empowerment, because a woman who cannot feed her children cannot build peace. Give a woman her education. Give a woman her desired health care. Give her economic opportunity, and watch her rebuild a nation. Let us for a moment think of a woman in Israel and Palestine, standing between bullets, building dialogue from Rambo. Think of the mothers who have lost their sons, yet still reach across the enemy's line to say, it is enough. Their courage must not be just a footnote. It must be the foundation of our formal peace processes. Let me share a little of my own home.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Member of Parliament of Malawi. Now, Véronique Rioton from France, you have the floor.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Moi, je voudrais simplement rappeler la contribution de la France dans ce texte qui vise à améliorer la mise en place de mécanismes solides de gestion post-conflit. La France, dans ses différents amendements, a proposé notamment de renforcer l'alinéa 7 en qualifiant, vous savez, les publics qui sont concernés. L'alinéa 7 dit « reconnaître l'impact disproportionné des conflits sur les femmes et les jeunes enfants » et nous proposons de renforcer la dimension sur les personnes handicapées, les groupes vulnérables et marginalisés, ce que sont principalement les femmes. Et donc ma proposition ici, c'est de demander au Forum des femmes de supporter, de soutenir ces amendements qui me paraissent aller dans le sens de la protection des droits des femmes. Je vous remercie.
Thank you so much, Véronique Rioton, and respecting for the time. Now, Myanmar has the floor for 2 minutes, please.
Honorable Chair, distinguished colleagues, my name is Zima On, and Member of Parliament. I wish to raise a critical concern regarding the instrumentalizations of women in political strategies that undermine not only democratic movement, but also the foundation of post-conflict recovery and sustainable peace. Across different contexts, we are observing traveling patterns where women in public roles, including politicians, media figures, and influencers, are strategically positioned to discredit opposition voices or civil movement. In Myanmar, women have been at the forefront of pro-democracy movement and spring revolution against military rule and community resilience efforts despite severe risks. The manipulations of women's voices in this context undermine both democratic aspirations and pathways to sustainable peace. Independent women leaders, civil society actors, and women parliamentarians in exile must be recognized and protected. I respectfully propose that this forum to recognize and monitor gender political manipulations as a threat to both democratic integrity and sustainable peace, particularly in post-conflict and fragile settings, and integrate these concerns into the work of Inter-Parliamentary Union, particularly within its democracy, gender equality, and peace-building agenda. So in the case of Myanmar, remind us that in times of crisis and transitions, women's political participations can be both powerful and vulnerable to distortions. So if we are to achieve sustainable peace, we must ensure that women remain genuine agents of democratic change, reconciliations, and resilience, not instruments of divisions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, Romania has the floor, then Bahrain, then Saudi Arabia, Kenya, and North Macedonia. So, Romania, you have the floor.
Dear colleagues, our meeting takes place in a period of major challenges for peace and security. Today, I would like to refer to the UN Security Council Resolution 1325/2000 on women, peace and security, available guide for our action toward the full, active and mindful participation of women in decision-making processes in times of conflict and post-conflict stabilization and reconstruction. Over the coming years, The strategic priority should be to move the YPS agenda from commitment to implementation. That start first with stronger leadership, accountability, and monitoring, update national action plans, clear institutional responsibility, regular reporting, measurable indicators, and parliamentary oversight. A second priority should be full, equal, and mindful participation of women at every level of peace and security decision-making, not just symbolic inclusion. A third priority is prevention and protection respond to today's threat environment. A fourth priority is predictable financing and institutional capacity. A fifth priority is stronger coordination across government, parliament, and civil society. Romania's own institutional model is useful here. Its national implementation group brings together the Ministry of National Defense, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Internal Affairs, Romanian Intelligence Service, Special Telecommunications Service, Protection and Guard Service, National Agency of Equal Opportunity, while also cooperating with parliamentary commission and civil society and academia. That kind of internal institution structure helps prevent fragmentation and keep YPS linked to both operational practice and democratic oversight. So, to prevent stagnation and renew moment, the YPS agenda needs accountability, participation, prevention, protection, financing, and cross-sector coordination, all translated into a measurable national system, not left at the level of declaration. Dear colleagues, parliamentary support is essential for implementation of the UN Women, Peace and Security Agenda, and I believe that the Forum of Women Parliamentarians is the best place to mobilize the support, which depends very much on a stronger engagement of women parliamentarians in defense and security matters. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bahrain. Hala, Ms. Hala, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. لقد أثبتت التجارب الدولية أن مراحل ما بعد النزاع غالباً ما تشهد إعادة إنتاج أوجه عدم المساواة التي كانت قائمة قبل الصراع أو حتى تعميقها، ولا سيما بحق النساء والفتيات. ففي كثير من الحالات يتم تهميش المرأة من مسارات إعادة الإعمار وصنع القرار، رغم أنها كانت في صدارة المتأثرين بالنزاع والأكثر قدرة على تشخيص احتياجات المجتمعات المحلية. ومن منظور جندري فإننا نطالب بأن يتضمن مشروع القرار أحكاماً صريحة تضمن الإدماج الكامل والمنهجي للمرأة في جميع مراحل إدارة مرحلة ما بعد النزاع، بما في ذلك عمليات بناء السلام والعدالة الانتقالية والمصالحة الوطنية وإعادة الإعمار والتعافي النفسي والاقتصادي. كما نطالب بأن ينص مشروع القرار على ضرورة اعتماد تشريعات وسياسات وطنية تراعي الأثر غير المتكافئ للنزاعات المسلحة على النساء والفتيات، ولا سيما فيما يتعلق بمنع العنف القائم على النوع الاجتماعي، وضمان المساءلة وعدم الإفلات من العقاب، وتوفير خدمات الحماية والدعم النفسي والاجتماعي والقانوني للناجيات. ونؤكد على ضرورة دعوة المشروع إلى إدماج التحليل الجندري في تخطيط وتمويل برامج ما بعد النزاع، وضمان تخصيص موارد كافية لتمكين النساء اقتصادياً وتعزيز مشاركتهن في الحياة العامة وصنع القرار. كما نشدد على أن يتضمن مشروع القرار دور رقابي واضح للبرلمانات في متابعة تنفيذ الالتزامات الدولية ذات الصلة، وعلى البرلمانات كذلك التأكد من إدماج البعد الجندري في الموازنات العامة وبرامج إعادة الإعمار وسياسات التعافي الاقتصادي، فغياب العدالة الجندرية في توزيع الموارد والفرص بعد النزاع يعد من أبرز عوامل عودة التوترات ويقوض فرص السلام الدائم مستدام. وشكراً لحسن الاستماع.
Thank you so much, dear Hala, for your participation. Now, Rima from Saudi Arabia, you have the floor for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Cynthia. From the standpoint of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, supporting global post-conflict peace building is not limited to enduring violence. It is about, number one, restoring state legitimacy and helping in rebuilding institutions and trust, as well as enabling socioeconomic recovery and preventing relapse into the conflict. Saudi Arabia's approach in supporting global post-conflict management is anchored in stability first, diplomacy, as well as respect for sovereignty and development as a peace tool and mediation and recounseling initiatives. We also give a great importance to protecting women and children, as we see it not only as a humanitarian obligation, but a strategic investment in global peace stability. Our key priorities are providing safe shelters for displaced women and children in harmed countries, having access to food, water, education, and healthcare, as well as protection from violence, trafficking, and exploitation. We also understand that conflict often disrupts education, especially for girls. Therefore, great importance is given to rebuilding schools and safe learning spaces and accelerated education programs for children who missed years of schooling, and giving scholarships and incentives for girls' education. This in turn will reduce child marriage and prevents recruitment into harmful groups and builds long-term economic resilience. Post-war conflict also breeds psychological and mental health issues. Therefore, we stress the importance of trauma counseling and rehabilitation. Economic exclusion is a major barrier to recovery. Therefore, vocational training and microfinancing should be provided, and support for women-led businesses, and ensuring access to employment opportunities, which will reduce dependence and vulnerability and strengthen household and community resilience. Women must be a part of solutions, not just recipients of aid. Therefore, women should be included in peace negotiations and local governances, and we should support women's civil societies and engagements. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rima. Now, Kenya has the floor, 2 minutes, please. And then would be North Macedonia, Jordan, Islamic Republic of Iran, Ghana, and Canada.
Thank you, Madam President. Colleagues, Kenya is a key actor in international peace building, regional peace building, and local community-led mediation for conflict resolution. Whereas most of the wars and conflicts are triggered by men, the higher impact are on women and children, whether as victims or the carriers of the burden of the consequences of conflict in society. The design of the peace building and conflict resolution strategies in the past years have largely been masculine. But thanks in Kenya to the Constitution of Kenya, now we have a framework that actually has a provision that requires that not more than 2/3 of either gender be members of any institution that is set up. As a result of this, beyond the policies that we have on conflict resolution, Kenya has key institutions dealing with peace building and conflict resolution, including the National Cohesion Commission, the National Defense College, the National Steering Committee on Peace Building. And all of this and others must actually have not more than 2/3 of either gender. Women will therefore be at the decision-making table in Kenya. But next for the parliamentarians is to treat conflict, which includes GBV, as a safety and security issue, to be included, not just when there is conflict, to be included in police and defense trainings, in internal security ministries and planning and budgets, and peace building to be integrated in the GBV support mechanisms in all conflict resolution mechanisms. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now is North Macedonia for 2 minutes, please.
Thank you, Madam President. Arbana Pasholi from North Macedonia. Distinguished colleagues, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to our hosts for their warm hospitality and excellent organization. We are meeting at a moment of great urgency. Today, the world is witnessing a paradox of progress and peril. While we celebrate decades of hard-won advancements in gender equality, we are simultaneously facing a resurgence of global instability. The data is clear and sobering. As of 2026, over 676 million women and girls live in the shadow of deadly conflicts. Conflicts are always a test for the resilience of our societies and our institutions. North Macedonia not only is a new democracy, but has also been an example that a conflict can be resolved and concluded with a peace agreement called the Ohrid Peace Agreement. But unfortunately, in the past 2 years, the current government has used harmful strategies to underestimate and to threaten the existence of this agreement, which puts the fate of all citizens, including women and girls, in a dissatisfying position. It is true that in 2024, North Macedonia elected the first woman president, but is it enough to be a woman in such an important leading position if you fail to represent fairly and unbiased the citizens, all the citizens of your country? It is also true that we are holding over 40% of parliamentary seats, but we fail to have women representing in ministerial seats and the government. Therefore, to respect the time, I would like to conclude with a very simple message. Women and girls need our actions more than our words, and let us not keep them waiting. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Jordan, you have the floor for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Your Excellency. صاحبة السعادة رئيسة منتدى البرلمانيات، أصحاب السعادة ممثلي البرلمانات العالم، اسمحوا لي بداية أن ألقي جزء من مشاعر المحبة والود للعالم جميعاً، وأن تكون رسالتي إن الخطاب ممتد نحو العالم يصر على أن السلام ليس حلماً شاعرياً بل ضرورة أخلاقية وبشرية، وأن العالم والمنطقتنا لن تعرف مستقبلها إلا حين ينصف الإنسان ويعيد للعدالة مكانها الطبيعي في ميزان السياسة. السلام هو روح لم تسكن الأرض، ستبقى البشرية تدور دائرة لا تنتهي من الألم. إن السلام للعالم ليس خياراً ثانوياً، بل هو الشرط الأول لبقاء المعنى، لحماية الأطفال من إرث الحروب، ولكي لا يصبح الحلم ترفاً ولا تصبح الحياة مجرد انتظار لنجاة مؤجلة. نرفع الدعاء أن تمتد جسور النور بين الشعوب، وأن تستبدل لغة الرصاص بلغة الفهم، وأن يولد من قلب التعب العالمي أفق جديد يليق بكرامة الإنسان أينما كان. سيدتي، سأتحدث عن بلدي الأردن وما قدم في الاستجابات دائما لموضوع ما بعد الحروب والعنف. يولي الأردن اهتماما متزايدا بتمكين السيدات وتعزيز دورهن في إدارة الأزمات، سواء على الصعيد الأسري والاقتصادي أو المجتمعي، خاصة في إطار تنفيذ الخطة الوطنية لتفعيل قرار مجلس الأمن 1325 المرأة والأمن والسلام. ويرتكز التعامل مع الأزمات في الأردن على شمولية الاستجابة من خلال المؤسسات الوطنية مثل المركز الوطني للأمن وإدارة الأزمات بالشراكة مع منظمات نسائية. هناك بعض الحلول أود أن أطرحها قد تكون لها دورا في التشاركية بين دولنا جميعا. أولا، أن يكون هناك خطط وطنية للاستجابة تقدمها الدولة وتتعاون مع منظمات إنسانية، منظمات نسائية، ومنظمات المجتمع المحلي التي قد تثري العمل والتداخل. دفع العنف عن المرأة وتمكينها من الوصول إلى أهدافها بثقة وكرامة. أن يكون هناك منظمات إنسانية نسائية وإنسانية لتعزيز السيدات ودورهن بالمشاركة، تعزيز الصحة النفسية ومراكز إيواء للمعنفات وخدماتهم. شكرا. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Just thank you so much. Ghana, you have the floor for 2 minutes, please.
Is it 2 or less? 2 or less.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Distinguished Chairperson, on behalf of the delegation from the Ghana Parliament, I wish to express my appreciation to the Inter-Parliamentary Union for convening this important parliamentary meeting. Achieving parity in decision-making is central to inclusive democracy when women participate fully in leadership and governance. Policy becomes more responsive to the needs of society. Structural and cultural barriers, however, still limit women's participation in politics and public life in many parts of the world. Working together will help encourage and bring more women on board. Ghana has 14.5 women in Parliament, and as chairperson of Women Caucus in Parliament, we are working hard to increase the number. Thank you, Madam Chairperson, for the opportunity.
We love you because you respect so much the time. Thank you, Ghana. Islamic Republic of Iran, please.
Thank you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. همکاران محترم، من امروز به نمایندگی از زنان سرزمینم اینجا هستم و برای تک به تک شما آرزوی آرامش و امنیت دارم. امنیتی و آرامشی که در 28 فوریه همین امسال از زنان سرزمین من، از کودکان سرزمین من در پی تجاوز ناجوانمردانه رژیم امریکا و رژیم اسرائیل سلب شد. من امروز با پوست و گوشت و خون خودم درک می‌کنم حمله نظامی و صدای وحشتناک بمب‌ها چه بلایی رو سر آرامش زنان سرزمینم داره میاره. آرامشی که مبنایی ترین اقدام هر بشری است، حتی برای مادری کردن زنان تا رشد و توسعه و هر اقدام دیگری. زنان سرزمین من در طی همه این سالها رشد قابل توجهی دارند. زنان سرزمین من باسوادن، آگاهن، انسانن در بالاترین درجه انسانی. 60% دانشجوها در کشور من رو زنان تشکیل میدن. 24% اختراعات در کشور من متعلق به زنانه، در بالاتر از میانگین جهانی، و هزاران نفر در پست‌های مدیریتی دارن کار میکنن. امروز زنان من آرامش ندارن. خانم رئیس، همکاران محترم، انتظار جمهوری اسلامی ایران و من به عنوان نماینده زنان سرزمینم که به تازگی 168 نفر از کودکان و دخترکان معصوم خودشون رو در این حمله از دست دادن، از شما میخوام به عنوان مدعیان حقوق بشر که در طول همه این سالها و ایزن جلسه امروز مکرر داریم راجع بهش صحبت میکنیم، در قطعنامه و بیانیه تجاوز ظلمانه رژیم فانی صهیونیست و البته امریکا رو حتما محکوم کنید. این کمترین توقع از این هیئت پارلمانی زنانه. ممنون و متشکرم.
Thank you, Somaye, for your intervention. Now, Canada, Salma, you have the floor for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Madam President, and a big thank you to our host, Türkiye. The draft resolution before us demonstrates a clear and welcome recognition of the importance of gender perspectives in post-conflict contexts. This recognition is essential given the central role that women play as both those disproportionately affected by the conflict and as agents of sustainable peace. We are all regrettably too aware of the UN's data on this issue. In 2024, there were 676 million women living within 50 kilometers of a deadly conflict, the highest recorded number since the 90s. Women are also more vulnerable to other risks, such as acute poverty, food insecurity, domestic violence, as well as limited education and employment opportunities, which can compound the effects of conflict. About 4 times more women, 258%, were killed in 2023-24 than in the previous 2 years. The draft resolution appropriately situates the understanding with established international frameworks, including Women, Peace and Security Agenda, and it reflects it through provisions that encourage the meaningful participation of women in the peace processes, reconciliation efforts, and parliamentary oversight. In doing so, the text aligns with the broad international consensus that inclusive approaches are fundamental to the effective and lasting post-conflict recovery. However, I would like to propose that the rapporteurs consider amending operative paragraph number 7 to read as follows: calls upon parliaments to prioritize conflict-affected populations, particularly women. While the resolution places particular emphasis on women's participation and representation, which are critical entry points, we also know the integration of gender perspectives across areas such as economic reconstruction, institutional reform, and broader recovery policies are essential and not as consistently put into practice. In conclusion,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, dear Salma. Ukraine, Lesia, you have the floor. Dear Lesia, for 2 minutes. For 2 minutes, please.
Thank you so much. Dear colleagues, I speak today as a woman and as a member of Ukrainian parliament, a country where war has made the question of reconciliation deeply personal for millions of women and families. For Ukrainian women, this war is fought not only on the battlefield, but in homes, hospitals, and communities. We strongly support this resolution and believe that it should clearly affirm that sustainable peace cannot exist alongside aggression or occupation. For women in Ukraine, peace without the restoration of sovereignty is not peace. It is prolonged insecurity and fear. We have been particularly concerned by systematic attacks on civilian infrastructure, energy, heating, and water systems, which disproportionately affect women and children. When electricity is cut, it is women who must find ways to care for the children, for the elderly, and the sick. Accountability is equally critical. Reconciliation cannot come at the expense of justice. Women must see that crimes, especially conflict-related sexual violence and the forced deportation of children, are recognized and prosecuted. In this regard, I call all states and parliaments to join and actively support the Special Claims Commission for Ukraine, as well as the Register of Damage. Also, women must be at the center of recovery and decision-making. Reconstruction, reparation, and transnational justice must be inclusive and responsible to gender-specific harms. At the same time, we must all be bold in ensuring accountability and protection of rights. And in this case, I would like to emphasize on the strengthened cooperation with the International Criminal Court and joining the treaty of the establishment of a tribunal for the aggression against Ukraine. Also, I would like kindly ask you to support our amendment to the paragraph 7, where we would like to emphasize the role of women And we propose this paragraph in this redaction. Calls upon parliaments to prioritize conflict-affected population, particularly women, in national reconstruction and international financing for recovery and assistance budgets.
Thank you so much. Now I will mention some countries. I will have the floor for 1 minute so we can close. So, chat, 1 minute, please. Chat, yes.
Madame la Présidente, Mesdames, Messieurs les parlementaires, chers collègues, au Tchad, nous croyons fermement que cultiver l'espoir pour les générations futures passe par l'égalité réelle entre les femmes et les hommes. C'est aussi ainsi que l'on consolide la paix et que l'on assure la justice. Notre pays a fait des progrès significatifs en s'appuyant sur un cadre constitutionnel solide. La Constitution consacre l'égalité des citoyens sans distinction de sexe. Mais nous sommes allés plus loin. La loi numéro 022/PR/2018 sur la parité des fonctions électives et nominations impose un quota minimum de 30% des femmes. Cette loi a transformé une ambition en obligation concrète. Les résultats sont visibles. Aujourd'hui, l'Assemblée nationale compte 34% des femmes, le Sénat 36% et le gouvernement 33%. Un seuil qui dépasse l'objectif légal. C'est une première dans notre histoire législative. Par ailleurs, nous avons créé un ministère dédié de la femme, une commission permanente à l'Assemblée et adopté des lois majeures. Prévention des violences faites aux femmes, ordonnance de 2025, code électoral inclusif, aide judiciaire sans discrimination et création des maisons de la femme. Mais nous savons que les défis persistent liés à des facteurs socio-culturels et économiques, l'accès à l'éducation, à la santé, au crédit ou la lutte contre les mariages précoces et les violences basées.
Thank you.
Une minute, madame.
Second round in the afternoon. In the afternoon, you can have the floor again. These 4 participations, we do it 1 minute because we have to go. We have to leave the floor. Yes. Republic Democratic of Congo, if you don't want to do it now for 1 minute, you can go in the afternoon. Republic Democratic of Congo?
Yes.
Okay.
Merci beaucoup, Madame la Présidente. Je prends la parole pour le compte de la République démocratique du Congo, tout en saluant le choix du sujet ou des thématiques. Je salue aussi les efforts fournis par notre gouvernement dans la recherche de la résolution des conflits, ainsi que dans le rétablissement de la paix dans sa partie Est. Je salue aussi la promotion de notre gouvernement dans la promotion de la masculinité positive à tous les niveaux de la prise de décision. Mais cependant, la situation de violence sexuelle demeure alarmante dans notre partie Est du pays. Alors nous appelons à la mise en œuvre immédiate de toutes les résolutions du Conseil de sécurité des Nations Unies afin de repenser le rétablissement d'une paix durable et surtout d'une mise en place d'un plan stratégique de replacement ou du retour de ces milliers de femmes qui ont subi ou continuent à subir des violences sexuelles. Alors, nous avons pensé à planifier un plan.
Thank you. We can continue also in afternoon. We can make a second intervention. Cambodia.
Merci.
Cambodia for 1 minute, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to propose amendments to Operative Paragraph 7 as follows. Calls upon parliaments to prioritize conflict-affected populations, particularly women, men, girls and boys, and other vulnerable groups, in national reconstruction and international financing for recovery and assistance budgets by allocating sustained resources to restoring livelihoods, rebuilding essential services and infrastructure, demining and clearance of explosive remnants of war, providing gender-responsive capacity building, supporting inclusive reintegration initiatives for displaced persons and ex-combatants, and ensuring that reconstruction programs reflect the diverse needs, rights, and perspectives of all affected communities while promoting the full, equal, and meaningful participation of women in all stages of recovery and peace building. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Now is Tanzania from 1 minute, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Chair. United Republic of Tanzania, under the good leadership of Her Excellency, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, our strong lady president, launched in August 2025 National Action Plan on Women, Peace and Security. And this very plan speaks about prevention of violence, whereby we have free local call. Whosoever thinks there is a violence somewhere, they can call. But under Her Excellency, Dr. Samia, we have Mama Samia Legal Aid. This is free legal aid for all women in United Republic of Tanzania, and our population is around 65 million. But also we have local level engagement to combat violence and promote culture of peace. In every local government, 25% in the village government must be women. But the role of parliamentarian, and some of us are here, is to make sure all the laws approved and amended by our National Assembly is having a gender equality sensitivity, including free education in the country, universal health for all, focusing on women's participation also in conflict areas, conflict resolution, prevention, and post-conflict recovery. So under the good leadership of Her Excellency Dr. Samia, every district council is setting almost 10% of its income to make sure women are given free loan. And this includes youth as well. So I thank you very much for this opportunity, and I want to assure this very important IPU conference that Tanzania is very safe, and Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, our lady strong president. Thank you very much. I beg to submit.
Big hug to Mrs. Samia. We are ready to go to Tanzania. We finish with Mexico. 1 minute, please.
Muy buenas tardes, querida presidenta.
La senadora Simei tiene la palabra y está registrada para la tarde. Senadora, adelante.
Gracias, compañeras parlamentarias del mundo. México no solo propone, acciona. Con nuestra primer mujer presidenta, la doctora Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo, que ha estado a la altura de grandes potencias y que ha hecho justicia y paz. No solo con ella, sino con muchas mexicanas aquí representadas, como nuestra compañera, que hemos logrado por fin la equidad. Y decirles que en México tenemos una máxima entre los individuos como entre las naciones: el respeto al derecho ajeno es la paz. Y esto es una máxima a nivel mundial. Por eso nos sumamos desde este Parlamento. El porcentaje de mujeres en las cámaras legislativas nacionales se ha convertido en algo determinante para lograr la justicia y la paz. Aquí lo estamos haciendo. Por eso hay 13 mujeres como gobernadoras y en otros puestos estratégicos como nuestra fiscal general, en el Banco Central y en muchos lugares. Decimos: la democracia en México es con la transformación, y la política será feminista o no será. ¡Vivan las mujeres del mundo! Muchísimas gracias.
Muchas gracias, senadora. So we finish with all the persons that require a participation. Thank you so much. And it will be a second session. We begin 2:30 until 5. And you have the opportunity to participate again. Thank you so much and have a good lunch.